Today I am making for you some homemade pasta, and the primary ingredient is semolina flour, and this is Bob's Red Mill. There are other brands, of course, and I'm just following the basic pasta recipe. On the back it does call for eggs, but I use the egg replacer since I don't eat eggs, and the egg replacer works just fine. And I also, to give it a little pizzazz, I add a little bit of onion powder, a little bit of garlic powder, and a tiny bit of sriracha powder, just to kind of give it a little kick. And I did the mixing. You can mix it by hand. I did it in my stand mixer using the dough paddles, or dough hooks, I guess they're called. I don't have a KitchenAid. This is just the old Krupp's power mixer, stand mixer. This is the bowl. Now, I didn't want to run the mixer because I thought it would be too loud to do in the video, so I already did that part. And I also just made a half batch because this is the first time and that I've made this, so I wanted to just make a small batch to try it out. I have made pasta before, but I did not use the recipe on the bag. So it says you need it about 10 minutes until the dough is smooth and elastic, and then you wrap it in a towel or place it in a plastic bag and let it rest for 20 minutes. So I let it go in the mixer about 10-12 minutes, and I just put a little bit of flour on the cutting board to knead it just a little bit more. Make sure it's nice and smooth. This is if you like making bread, or if you want to try making bread. This is the same kind of technique you would use to get a nice smooth dough if you don't have a bread machine or mixer. So I think it's nice and pretty smooth. So I'm going to, I forgot to get a plastic bag. Let me see if I can find one down here. Hold on. Going to use this one, and I will put it in there, make it nice and smooth. You can see it just has a smooth finish, it's not sticky. That's important because you don't want it to stick to the pasta machine. And you can roll it out by hand and slice it and everything, but I have a pasta maker, so I'm going to put it in here to let it sit about 20 to 30 minutes. I think it says 20. It says let rest for 20 minutes, so to keep it moist, the plastic bag to keep it moist. So I just set it at room temperature. 20 minutes and we'll do step 2. Okay, our dough has been sitting for about 20 minutes, actually closer to 30, I think. Let's see what it's like. It's a little bit sticky now. So, a little bit sticky, not too bad. Oops, sorry about that. I have a little thing of flour. If you're baking, it's a good idea just to have a little bowl of flour, because you never know when you need just a tiny pinch. That's my tip for the day. So I've got my Italian pasta maker here. This is Imperia brand, made in Italy, in Torino. That has the basic part, and then it has 2 cutters. I can't quite lift it up, but one for like fettuccine, which is about 1/4 inch wide, and then a spaghetti slicer as well, which is maybe like a 1/16 of an inch. You have to bolt it down, otherwise it slides around too much. I couldn't quite do it on my counter, so I have it bolted to the cutting board, so hopefully that'll work. It won't move around too much. And this is the wheel. This is a hand crank pasta machine. Of course, there are automatic ones nowadays, but this is nice. My grandmother had one just like this, and I think this one was my mom's. I don't know. Had it for a pretty long time. And there are different thicknesses that are controlled by this wheel. So generally you start off on the widest setting, which is what I have it on now. And I think I'm going to I've got this, I forget what they call these now, but anyway, I'm going to try just half of the dough at a time. So I could use this to cut it in half. Bench scraper, I think that's what they're called. So then, let's see what happens. Oh, and I got a clean dish towel. This one's cute. It's got little kitty cats: sit, stay, shake, speak, beg, chase, fetch. Not that they listen to those commands, but it's funny. So this is just to put the pasta on when it's done, when it's been cut, to kind of just let it until it's ready to cook. But use something without I can't think of the word. Anyway, I keep forgetting words. So, anyway, just use a towel that doesn't have fuzz on it. There's a word that I'm thinking of, but I can't think of it. So, I got a little piece. I just tried half of it at a time, and I'll flatten it out just a little. I'm going to put a teeny pinch of flour, just because I'm afraid I don't want it to stick. So a bit of flour on either side. It's just my own. It doesn't say this in the instructions, but first roller, and you can see it comes out very thin. I guess it needs a little WD-40. So we've got a nice strip. Now I'll adjust it a little bit narrower. The next setting. And make another pass. A little bit, a tiny bit more flour. If it starts sticking to the machine, it can be kind of a pain to clean it, so I'm a little paranoid about that. So here is the next pass. This is getting pretty thin. If you wanted it to do it again even thinner, I would cut it in half. In fact, I think I better cut it in half right now because it's getting a little floppy. I'm going to cut it in half with that. Now I'm going to try it through the fettuccine one and see how it comes out. It's already sticking a teeny bit. I'm using regular all-purpose flour for this, even though the recipe is the semolina flour, but just the all-purpose is fine for the sticking problem. So let's put it in the fettuccine cutter and see what happens. It's coming out the back side, so you can't really see it. So it's kind of clumped together, but that's how it comes out. I'm going to put it over here. It's starting to stick together more than I would like. Not sure what's the problem there. Maybe it needs a little more flour. The dough is supposed to be very dry after you've mixed it, and I may have had a little too much moisture. That could be part of the reason why it's kind of clumping together. So I'm going to make another cut this time. So a little bit of flour on either side. And we will try it again through the fettuccine wheel. Oops, wrong way. This time I'm catching it as it comes out. So I'm catching it, it did not clump. So that's probably the problem, is I just let it fall into a blob. So I'm going to put those over there. And I have one more. This one, I think it needs to go through this roller again because it's kind of, come on. some silicone spray or something in there. I'm going to cut off the really skinny part at the end, the narrow part. So this piece is pretty small, but let's run it through it. Keep having to forget I have to move the handle. Okay, let's try this once more. As you can see, it's a bit of a process. Practice makes perfect, and I have not done this very much lately. So once again, I'm going to catch it as it comes out the back. And you can see some more little fettuccine noodles. They're shorter. Now, the ones that are clumped, I think what you can do is just start over. That's pretty nice. And so I'm going to add a little more flour. I should probably roll up my sleeves. I've already got flour everywhere. Okay. A little more flour just to kind of keep this sticking down. And just get a nice smooth dough. That's a little too much flour. I'm going to knead it just a little bit. Get the flour all absorbed. So this is kind of a fun project to do. Like, you can, if you have kids, they can help. It can be messy, but that's part of the fun. And the more you do it, the better at it you will get. But the results are worth it because it's like melt in your mouth pasta. It's not like the dried one from the store. Okay, so I sort of resurrected that one into dough once again. Now this time I remembered to move the wheel, move the handle, and make it wider. Go back to the wide setting. This handle falls out if you're not careful because it doesn't really latch. So this is the widest setting. And I realized last time I went from the widest to, I didn't go right to the next narrowest one. That was my mistake. A little more flour. I skipped a few notches, so this time I think I'll just skip one notch. I wonder if that caused the problem last time. So now I'll go through a little narrower. Okay, a teeny bit more flour. So I think this is fine. For the fettuccine. So I will move this. See, now I remember. Move this handle over here. Make sure it's all the way in. I think I didn't have it all the way in, so that's why it was falling out. And I will put this through our little fettuccine roller. This one doesn't squeak like the other one. And then I'm going to catch it on the back side as it comes out. This is a very long piece, so you can see there, and I can cut it so they're more similar lengths because I've got all different lengths. So that gives you the idea. And when you cook, if you're cooking it fresh, you can just let it out to dry and cook it later. That's no problem doing that. But if you cook it fresh like this, it's really fast. So it's not like store-bought pasta where it might take, 8, 10, 12 minutes depending. This will probably cook in just, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. So you gotta check it frequently so you don't want it to get too mushy. So I've got, that's only half, remember. I've got this whole other section, but I think I'm not going to do that on the video because I don't want to bore you. You've got the idea. So I'm just going to show you, lift this up. Don't try not to get seasick. Oops. So you can see what it looks like on my dish towel. So you can use just butter, olive oil, you can put a tomato sauce, pesto sauce, whatever you like. I like to make a fresh tomato sauce. Like you can use these cherry tomatoes or regular full-size tomatoes, and then you just do a quick saute with some olive oil and garlic and basil and make a really nice little fresh sauce.